Hello everyone, Mr. Martin here, and welcome to the presentation on Citations and Bibliographies, an MLA style mini guide. Our learning objective is, by the end of this presentation, students will be able to create in-text citations and a works cited page in MLA style. Before we get started, I would like to speak about the scope of this presentation. Style guides like MLA are large, complicated systems. This presentation will only cover the very basics. If you want to learn more, the Purdue Online Writing Lab, or OWL, is a fantastic resource. The link is below, and I will be providing the slides. Plagiarism and citation. So plagiarism is taking the work of another and presenting it as your own. It is a very serious academic offense. But citation is how we give credit to the people whose ideas and words we use in our own work. Let's talk about in-text citations, where we know the author and page number. So an in-text citation happens in the body of your project, usually in a paper. So let's say that you reference another person's work in a sentence. In that case, you must provide their name and the page number in parentheses. You place the parentheses at the end of the sentence like this. Slop is a new term for AI-generated content that is of poor quality. Hoffman, 7, period. A few things I want to point out. There is no comma in the parentheses, not in MLA style. The period goes after the parentheses, not before. Okay? Now, you are able to mention the author in the sentence. In that case, you do not need to put the name in the parentheses. Let's look at this example. According to Hoffman, slop is a new term for AI-generated content that is of poor quality. Parentheses, 7, period. So because I mentioned that this was Hoffman's idea in the sentence, I only need to reference the page number in the in-text citation. Now let's look at in-text citations where we know the author, but there are no pages listed. This is actually very common for internet content. For a situation like that, you simply leave the pages out. You don't replace it with a paragraph number or anything like that. Let's look at an example. Artificial intelligence, AI, often provides bafflingly bad advice. Parentheses, Ovide, period. Okay, I don't put any kind of number afterwards, I just put the author's name. We can also mention Ovide in the sentence itself. According to Ovide, artificial intelligence, AI, often provides bafflingly bad advice, period. In this situation, I don't put a parentheses. I've already referenced the author, I've already acknowledged that this was not my idea, so I don't need to do anything else because there are no page numbers to reference. Now let's look at a situation where the author is unknown. This is also very common, especially on Gale. Some of the reference authors do not list an author. In this case, you use the title of the article in quotation marks instead of an author's name. Let's look at this example. This test was proposed to provide a standard for true artificial intelligence, parentheses, quotation, Turing test, period. Okay? There were no page numbers, so I leave that out. It's just the title of the article. Now let's talk about direct quotations. Sometimes it's best to use the words of the author exactly as they wrote them. If you do that, you need to put those words in quotation marks and provide an in-text citation. Let's look at an example. Although bad information is out there, comma, quote, the vast majority of AI overviews provide high-quality information, quote, parentheses, Ovide, parentheses, period. Note, I do not put a period inside the quotation marks even though that was the end of the sentence. I still just leave it off of there, and I put it at the end of the parenthetical. Now let's talk about a works cited page. This is the other type of citation. Just because you provided in-text citations does not mean you get to skip this part. All works that you use must be listed in a separate page at the end of your project. You put works cited at the top and center it. The page must be double-spaced. You must list the resources in alphabetical order by author, and if there is no author, you use the title instead of author, and you still put it in alphabetical order. And they must have a hanging indent. I will show you how to do this soon. And I have a tip for you. When you're starting making pages like this, I would definitely recommend that you use sources like Gale and the other databases because they generate the citations for you. If you really need to use another source, you can, but you will have to look up how to do so. Again, I strongly recommend the Purdue OWL website. It is very highly regarded, and the information has served me and many others very well in our academic careers. So, as an example, I made a works cited page right here using the sources that I used in my examples, okay? It is in alphabetical order with Hoffman, H, O, Vide, O, and Turing test is last T, okay? But I don't have that hanging indent because I can't do that in slides. So let me show you how you would do a hanging indent in a Google Doc. And it's actually pretty simple. You just have to know where to click. So I need the hanging indent in all of this, so I click and drag. I go to Format. I go to Align and Indent. I go down to Indentation Options, click it. I go down to Special Indent, Hanging, and MLA style is a 1/2 inch, so I put 0.5 and apply. And now you can see it's much easier to see where one begins and ends, another begins and ends.